Welcome, night wanderers and romance sleuths, to the velvet-lit corner of the internet where secrets whisper louder than headlines. Welcome to Whispers of Turkish Stars. Before we slide into the heart of tonight's story, which hums with the ache of real feeling and the suspense of a slow-burn confession, take a breath and make sure you're subscribed. If you want to be part of our inner circle, the subscribe button is there for you. Your support keeps our lanterns glowing as we search for what's real beneath the glitter. Hit like, keep your comments ready, and settle in. What unfolded in Istanbul last night deserves your full attention. There's a certain electricity that threads through the city when the Bosphorus turns black and mirrors the city's gold. It's the hour when music grows silkier and conversations hold their breath, when the fragrance of oud and night jasmine hangs heavy and secrets seem brave enough to step into the light. Last night was meant to be just another social ritual, one of those seamless evenings where perfect smiles float over clinking crystal and nobody says anything that might be remembered. And then the script ripped right down the middle. At the core of this charged moment stood two names that had been murmured for months, as if Istanbul itself were practicing their pairing under its breath, Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel. For so long, they chose quiet over spectacle. That hush wasn't a void, it was a garden they tended away from stomping feet. Yet the world loves noise, and their silence grew crowded with guesses, labels, and theories. Some said strategy. Some said distance. Some went colder, calling it calculation. Last night, they didn't just arrive. They entered as if crossing a private threshold together, a choice made in the open. Side by side, unhurried, their fingers locked in a grip that told its own story without needing a microphone. Their stillness became an answer. The flash of cameras washed over them like white surf, but what lingered wasn't the light, it was the quiet after each burst, where their shared glances seemed to move in a language older than words. In those seconds, it felt like they reclaimed authorship of a narrative people had borrowed for too long. Friends close to them have said the low profile was never born of fear. It was a gentle border they drew so their peace could survive in a city that keeps score of every heartbeat. But patience has a breaking point, and dignity asks for its turn at the microphone when whispers turn into judgments sharp enough to bruise. The line was crossed when chatter hardened into verdicts. When a complicated, trembling, human bond was shrunk to a cheap PR headline. The powder keg sparked with a single question. A journalist, voice steady and gaze unwavering, invoked the words of a well-known businessman, a presence from earlier chapters who suddenly felt like a shadow stepping across the light. He had dismissed their connection as a manufactured ploy. The sentence didn't float, it thudded. The oxygen thinned. You could sense every heartbeat in the room waiting to see what they would do. Yağmur's smile, usually warm enough to soften the edges of anything, didn't vanish. It transformed, taking on a new weight, a sheen like tempered steel. She didn't rush. She let the hush hold while she gathered her breath. When she spoke, it was with the calm that comes from knowing exactly who you are. She wouldn't tolerate her life being trimmed into a campaign. Her decisions, she explained, rise from her own heart and her own judgment. Reducing the person she loves to a prop in someone else's publicity machinery was not just incorrect, it was an insult to her integrity as a woman and an artist. In that sealed silence, her words seemed to pull the walls closer, as if everything extraneous had been cleared away so the truth could be seen without a filter. And now, dear companions of Whispers of Turkish Stars, I turn that moment over to you. How often are sincere emotions bulldozed by the cynicism of show business? Did you feel that she chose the right moment to stand tall, or should she have left silence to do the talking? Tell me what you think in the comments. If this kind of close reading of Starlight resonates with you, support the channel with a super thanks or membership, it keeps us independent and attentive. Back to the room, where the echo of her stance still trembled faintly, like a note that refuses to end. Seeing the weight settle on her shoulders, Barış stepped in, not to eclipse her, but to stand beside her the way a harbor meets a storm-tossed ship, steady, unshowy, protective. He took the mic and said their quiet was a deliberate shield, never a trick. He spoke plainly about how people rush to fill empty space with whatever storyline fits their appetite, pinning stickers onto things they don't fully grasp. Their story, he explained, didn't emerge from a boardroom. It grew in crooked hours, during imperfect days, when they were each feeling a little fragile, far away from angles and lights. To turn that tenderness into a marketing move was to trample the most human parts of what they share. Then he said the line that the internet devoured and spun into 1,000 captions: they refuse to be dangled like bait. No one will use their names as a lure for clicks, for curiosity, for profit. The message was simple and hard as a knuckle on a table. Draw boundaries, or be consumed. After that, Yağmur's voice flowed again. She wasn't born in anyone's shadow, she said, and she didn't plan on stepping into one now. Her career wasn't an overnight miracle, it was a ladder climbed when cameras were off and when applause had nothing to do with it. If she holds someone's hand, it's because her spirit says yes, not because a spreadsheet demands it. Anyone who flattens her into a cartoon of a woman chasing brightness through romance has never truly met the person behind the interviews. Words weren't the whole confession. Their gestures told their own, quieter truth. A thumb moving in small circles over a knuckle. A shoulder tilting almost imperceptibly toward the other. A laugh too quick to be staged, slipping out like relief itself. Even those who came armed with suspicion found themselves paused by the evidence of ease. Realness, it seemed, wasn't noisy at all. It was the way their bodies forgot about the room for a breath or two. When they began to leave, a final question cut through the shuffle: so is this official now? Barış didn't flinch. They hadn't been hiding, he said. They simply weren't interested in surrendering the narration of their lives to the crowd. Tonight, the truth was standing on its own feet. Yağmur closed the loop with a softer smile, saying they were happy. And that happiness was the detail worth keeping. The night parted and the internet roared. Applause mingled with criticism, as it always does. Some insisted the timing was curated. Others called it the first honest moment in a long while. No matter the angle, the thing impossible to ignore was how fiercely they stood together. The story now dangling in newsroom air is a familiar one. What will that prominent businessman do next? Clarify? Push back? Disappear into a tasteful quiet? Whatever comes, last night drew a line that won't be erased easily. The image that won't leave the mind is simple: two figures walking out, fingers intertwined, wearing exactly what they felt. No armor, no spin, just a decision to be the version of themselves that could survive daylight. Sometimes, the smallest gesture breaks the oldest pattern. A hand in a hand can be a manifesto. Tell me, luminous watchers of whispers of Turkish stars. Are we witnessing the beginning of a cleaner chapter for them, or will echoes from the past try to knock at their door again? Did Barış's composure and Yağmur's resolve change your mind? I want to hear your boldest takes below. Your voice keeps this space alive. If tonight's slow burn moved you, tap subscribe and ring the bell so our next whisper finds you first. And for those who wish to stand with us as we keep looking past the headlines, the subscribe button is your key to our inner circle. As the city returned to its usual pulse, those who were in the room said a quieter layer remained. People weren't just talking about a couple anymore, they were talking about the price of privacy, about how love survives under floodlights. Some said they noticed how Barış listened more than he spoke, how he aimed every word like a calm arrow. Others noted the way Yağmur's voice didn't rise, it grounded. There was nothing frantic to sell, no breathless push for a headline. Just two artists refusing to let strangers rearrange their hearts. That's the note we leave you on tonight. The shore lights are dimming. The water still remembers the echoes of their steps. And we, the watchers, carry a picture home, not of scandal, but of a soft rebellion. Whatever tomorrow's feeds do with it, last night belonged to them. This is Whispers of Turkish Stars, thanking you for your time, your trust, and your ever-curious gaze. Keep your glitter, but keep your guard. Until the next unveiling.